I'm so excited to have Bruce Pearl, the head coach of Auburn, on our live stream. When I think of Coach Pearl, the best way I can describe him is this. It's like juggling balls in the air constantly. I don't know anybody who is more active, more involved, more energetic in practice. People think he's energetic on the sidelines. Bruce, thank you so much for being with us. We love having you a part of our event.
Well, Dave, it's great to be with you. It's great to be part of the event. Yeah, and my management style is simply taking 20 pounds of potatoes, stuff them in a 10-pound bag every day. And so as a result, some of those potatoes fall out. So that's kind of why I'm in there juggling so as to not drop one of them.
Coach, you just continue on a climb here with your program. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic to watch. You're so invested in the Auburn community and making a difference. We're so pleased that you would take time to be with us on Special Olympics. Kind of give us a little bit of your day-to-day right now. People don't understand how busy you are in May.
Yeah, look, it's a full-time job. Nobody's complaining. I used to work this hard when I was an assistant or when I was a Division II coach. And Debbie, people look at coaches and they look at where we are right now in our careers, but they don't remember. I was poor till I was 45, broke, being an assistant, being a Division II head coach, even being a low major Division I coach, and now you get to the pinnacle of your profession and you're able to do something for yourself and your family. So we better work hard for what they're paying us, right? There's no bottom line there. And then you mentioned it, just what you're doing with nothing but net. To whom much is given, much is expected. And, what an opportunity you and I both have to be able to take advantage of our platforms and be able to do something that's important. And, the support that you've been able to provide for these Special Olympics and for these incredible athletes is something that probably nobody appreciates more than those kids and their families. And so, man, I'm excited to watch you shoot again this year. What do you think? How are you shooting right now? How's your training going?
Well, it's going great. I'm doing 2-a-days right now, getting ready. The free throw burpee routine, free throw burpee. That is significantly a game changer for me. It has helped me get ready. It makes, it's like anything else. You want to have confidence, right? You need to put the reps in.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I need to have you come shoot free throws with some of my guys, right?
Hey, listen, I'm happy. My street cred in the gym has gone up a little bit because of this event. I have to admit, they know I can at least shoot it from 15. I don't know if I can make it from 3 anymore, but Bruce, when you talk about philanthropy, you have always had a giving heart. You mentioned that it wasn't until 45 that you actually had the blessings of being able to make enough money to share. I'm trying to emulate what you've done. I mean, how about that event you ran in Knoxville? You raised $1 million in one night. I mean, yeah. I'm looking at guys like you and I'm thinking, you don't have to do this. You get to do it. And it's a totally different attitude philanthropically.
Well, I mean, I think Debbie, as I've gotten older, and I just come to realize, look, it's not me, it's God utilizing me. I mean, that's all it is to it. And so, I mean, like the thing in Knoxville with Outlive, Chris Lofton was a great player for us. And after an NCAA tournament game and a random drug test, we miraculously found out that he had testicular cancer. If he doesn't do that drug test, he's not one of the random ones picked. He may never find out. It may be stage 4 or 5 by the time he does find out. And then his life could have been in jeopardy. But he treated it, and yet he played that season through it. He outlived cancer. Outlive. And that program raised a couple $1 million for the UT Medical Center in honor of Chris and his battle. And then we came to Auburn, and I said, man, this is just too good a program because, the best way to outlive cancer is to detect it early. And so there's got to be an awareness campaign involved. And then, for us with our Outlive campaign at Auburn, the first year I did it, we only raised $12,000 in its first year. Okay. This 7 years later, we're going to be we've already done this. We've given out $250,000 to patients in the state of Alabama who are battling cancer, who can't go to work every day because they're sick from their chemo. are had to miss some work, and so they're short on a mortgage payment. The money goes to patients that are in financial needs, and we're working with about 10 different hospitals and agencies throughout the state. That's making a difference, and I just feel like it's nothing that you and I don't need to be thanked for that. That's
Right.
what we're supposed to do,
Right.
and that's what we do. But we can't do it without people contributing. We can't do it, and then like right now. Do we want the special needs coming on this podcast and asking for your support to Special Olympics? Is that what you want?
Mm-hmm.
Let Debbie do it. Let Debbie make the ask. But without people then accepting that and going, okay, I'm going to support these kids and I'm going to support your, can't do it. We couldn't raise $250,000 unless it was the Auburn family that said, you know what? How can I give $25 to some family that needs it? How can I do it? And we're going to give them big. We're going to give that big.
That's it, right? That's it. I mean, it's a grassroots effort of asking everyone in this event to give 1 penny for every free throw I make. That's 2,400 free throws. It's $24. Everyone can find a way to help. And that $24 that someone may give to Special Olympics goes a long ways. As you know, in June is the National Games in Orlando. Every state will be sending a contingency, including Alabama, to Orlando for players to have the experience that you and I may take for granted, the experiences we get through sport. But when you get right down to it, Bruce, I've always respected the fact that you understand the value of play, the value of sport, and what it means from a grassroots level. Yeah, no question. Debbie, what are the goals? What did you raise last year? What are you trying to raise this year? So that's a great question, because I love to share this information. The first year we raised 85. The second year we raised 125. Last year we raised over 200. This is me, a little girl, 9 years old, who fell in love with the game, who has found a way to use my platform and to share our story about Frankie, who has just graduated from college. Awesome. When he was born, no one ever thought a kid like Frankie, a young man living with Down syndrome, would ever be able to go to college. Yet he went to college. Not only did he graduate, he was in a fraternity. He played intramurals. He held a job. He went to class. He was a manager for women's basketball at Clemson. He had the full college experience, and he learned the life skills that go along with it. And Special Olympics has played a significant role in allowing him to have the confidence to be able to know that he can overcome, that he can take on a challenge, that, he can fail, but he can figure out his mistakes and move forward. Isn't that, like, you're a parent, isn't that what we want for our kids? I mean, honestly, when it gets down to it, and that's where sport becomes the vehicle for us. Yeah, no question. And we've got a program at Auburn called the Eagles program, and it's something very similar, and it's unbelievable how talented these kids are. But how much they really appreciate and recognize where they're at in this moment, and recognize, look, this is a great country and anything is possible for everybody. I deal with student athletes, most of them of color. All right, there are going to be roadblocks, there are going to be detours, there are going to be challenges, but there are still opportunities for them to do anything they want to do. Yes, roadblocks, yes, racism, yes, profiling, yes, challenges. Are you going to use that as an excuse? Well, I can't do it. Now, listen, man, that's on you, because you can do it. And what we're saying to these kids is you can do it. We recognize the roadblocks and the challenges and some of the things that you've got to go through. But you know what? You can graduate from Clemson. You can be a manager of the women's basketball team. Anything is possible, but you've got to be able to let them see a little bit of that light so that they can, have the confidence in themselves. Right. It's important as a coach that my players believe that I believe in them, because if I don't believe in them, it's hard for them to believe in themselves. And so that's why it's important that you believe in these young athletes. Well, that's 100% true. And when you ask me about the goals, we've raised over $415,000 in 3 years. And in the next 2 years, I want to reach 1 million. And I'm going to shoot till my arm falls off, Bruce. I'm going to keep shooting until we reach $1 million. And I hope that this year we can get to 0.75. And then the next year we can get to 1 million. But I'd be happy to be at 1 million after this year. I'm so grateful for people like you that have had incredible blessings. I mean, look, you've earned every bit of that new big fat contract that you earned it. And I love your succession plan because it's all a part of giving back. It's all a part of who you are. Bruce, the one other thing I want to mention to you is, we connected early on. I want to say, I don't even know how many years ago it was, but over our dear friend Pat Summit. I knew that you were at a whole other level based on your relationship with Pat, because Pat was a friend of mine as well. And I know how valuable that friendship was to her. And I know how valuable it was to you. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about people like Pat Summit or Kay Yao, my coach at NC State, because they all taught us the same thing that you're teaching your players. Giving is a skill. Giving is a skill. How are you teaching giving as a skill to your players?
Well, I mean, mostly obviously by example. When guys come in, they got their own personal goals as to what they want to try to do. But if they would focus on something like being a great teammate and therefore giving as a teammate while they work on getting better themselves, it takes a lot of pressure off them. But if their focus is just all about themselves and all about their NBA and all about their shots and all, now look, you've got to go in there and put that work to make that happen. But if you bring somebody else along with you, that's how obviously, you have a great team. And then, just as far as the giving is concerned, the best way to do it is simply by giving by example, both, for me, what I do with my family and our foundation and not that we do it for the awards, but when it comes to community service here at Auburn, our Auburn men's basketball team does as much as anybody in this community. Again, to whom much is given, much is expected. Along those lines, Debbie, the number 18 is a we call it a sort of a high, and it's in Judaism it's a blessing, and so oftentimes, we give gifts and with 18 being part of that number. So I talked to my wife before we were going to do the podcast, and our family is very blessed and very honored. We're going to donate $1,800 to Nothing But Net, and it's just going to help you kind of get there. But it's significant to me, and I know it is to you guys as well.
Well, Bruce, I humbly thank you. I'm so grateful that.
Well, you can't ask others to do something you're not willing to do yourself, right? You and I can't ask people to do things unless we're willing to do things ourselves. That's how you lead, and that's how you just do the best you can to be that example. And you know what? God's going to bless it now. Come on. I mean, you don't do it for the blessing, but I'm telling you, Debbie, the more that I have given and the more that I've blessed others, the more that I've been blessed beyond what I deserve. And that's just been fact. And I'm gonna do it without the blessing if I can. That's the most important thing. You'll try to do it quietly sometimes, but you know what? It's hard because we want to encourage others to do it as well.
Well, and I think that's the spirit of it, right? It's not about us. It's about what we can do for others. And you emulate that every day, Bruce, with your program. I'm so honored that you took the time. I am so grateful for your $1,800. That is great. 18, the number 18. I'll be thinking about that number every time in my 100 shots on the top of the hour. That's going to be my special number, and I'm going to be thinking about you. And I appreciate you and your family so much for your generous contribution to Special Olympics.
Well, appreciate what you're doing, and I know it's going to be a magnificent day. And I'll look forward to getting you back on some of those SEC games. I thought you got promoted a couple of years ago. We had you in a lot of games, and all of a sudden I saw you in all the big ACC games. I said, well, obviously, ESPN must have think that's a promotion.
Well, I tell you what, it is an honor to be able to call games that involve your team because of the preparation, because of the offense, because of the Auburn arena, which is just unbelievable. I mean, I've been in Cameron many times for Coach K games, especially the last 3 games of his career in Cameron, and the crazies are on top of you, right? Well, if people haven't been to Auburn, they don't realize that is just the same way. Your student section because they love you, Bruce, because of what you've done, how you've turned that whole program around. It's amazing. And I'm so grateful that you are part of our event.
Well, great to be with you and wish you nothing but the best. War Eagle.